Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. In our today's video lecture, we are going to see about the Hindu newspaper analysis of 6th January 2018. This is the first page of Hindu newspaper and this page contains 6 important articles. This is the first important article from this page, and this article is very much important from the perspective of General Studies paper 2 of UPSC Civil Services examination as well as from the General Studies paper 3 of UPSC Civil Services mains examination. The reason is this article is discussing about both the international relationship as well as about the terrorism. We know that in general the Pakistani government is dependent upon the United States of America government for its security assistance. Every year the United States of America will provide a certain amount of money as the security assistance to the Pakistani government. This money is provided in two categories. The first category is the payment under the State Department's foreign military financing, and the second category is the payment under the Coalition Support Fund. Here, the Coalition Support Fund is meant for the Pakistan's logistic support which it had provided to the Afghanistan war. In this scenario, recently the United States of America has released two major documents. The first document is the South Asia Strategy and the second document is the National Security Strategy. In both this document, the United States of America has severely criticized the Pakistan government for its inaction to curb the terrorism in its soil. And apart from that, recently, the United States of America President in his New Year address has also publicly condemned the Pakistan for its inaction to curb the terrorism. So in this scenario, recently the US Parliament has announced that it is going to suspend the security assistance which is meant for Pakistan. And the United States of America Parliament has also clearly stated that this suspension will continue until the decisive action have been taken against the terrorist groups like the Afghan Taliban or the Haqqani network. Until the proper action is taken against these networks, the money won't be released. That is what said by the United States of America Parliament in this regard. Here, the money in question is roughly around $1 billion US. And apart from this security assistance, the US government is providing various other monetary assistance to the Pakistan. All the other assistance is not suspended, only the security assistance is suspended. That is what said by US government in this regard. And this suspension is not new for the US and Pakistan. Earlier also this kind of suspension have taken place. Most recently, the suspension have been announced by the US government in the year of 2011 under the Barack Obama presidency. So this suspension is not new, and apart from that, right now the US government has severely said that it is pretty much determined to address the national security interest. And that is what all provided in this article, and we are all supposed to wait and watch regarding the developments regarding this issue. Now let us move on to next article. This is the second important article of this page, and this article is very much important from the perspective of UPSC Civil Services mains examination. The main reason is this article is discussing about the education sector. Recently, the Union Ministry of Human Resource Development has carried out a survey and released it. The survey is named as the All India Survey on Higher Education Report, and it is carried out for the year of 2016 to 2017. In this survey, the gross enrollment ratio in higher education of all the states have been recorded. And the gross enrollment ratio means the ratio which measures the total enrollment irrespective of age, which is expressed as a percentage to the eligible population in a given academic year. Here, the eligible population means the persons who were in between the age group of 18 to 23 years. And according to this survey, it has been found out that the state of Tamil Nadu have ranked first in the gross enrollment ratio across India. It has recorded 46.9% of gross enrollment ratio. In terms of the Union Territories, the Chandigarh has came first. In Chandigarh, the gross enrollment ratio is 56.1%. The poorest performers in the gross enrollment ratio is the state of Bihar, Assam and West Bengal. In state of Bihar, only 14.4% is the gross enrollment ratio. In state of Assam, only 17.2% is gross enrollment ratio. In West Bengal, it is 18.5% and Odisha, it is only 21%. And the national average of the gross enrollment ratio is 35.7%. And that is what all provided in this article. And now let us move on to next important article. This is the third important article of this page. And this article is very much important from the perspective of UPSC Civil Services Mains examination. The main reason is this article is discussing about the action taken to curb the air pollution issue. Earlier, the Supreme Court of India has banned the sale of firecrackers in the Delhi National Capital Region during the Deepavali time period. Do note it down. Supreme Court has only banned the sale of firecrackers and not the bursting of firecrackers. Due to this announcement, the air pollution issue is considerably reduced when compared to the previous year. So in this regard, the Supreme Court of India has directed the Central Pollution Control Board to carry out a survey to analyze the impact of the verdict of Supreme Court on curbing the air pollution. For this reason, the Central Pollution Control Board has carried out a survey and it has recently submitted its report to the Supreme Court. In its report, the Central Pollution Control Board has clearly stated that there is no unusual variation in the respiratory illness as well as there is no sudden dip in the public health before or after Deepavali. That is what provided in the report of Central Pollution Control Board. The Central Pollution Control Board has also stated that the air quality of the National Capital Region has worsened after the Deepavali. Even though it has been better, but still the air quality is completely worsened after the Deepavali because the bursting of firecrackers is not banned by the Supreme Court, only the sale of firecrackers is banned. The study carried out by the Central Pollution Control Board is included the respiratory, skin, air and eye ailments as well as it includes the relevant symptoms pre and post festive season and a clinical study of lung function, urine sample on a randomly selected subjects and data analysis. This is what done by the Central Pollution Control Board to generate the impact of the Supreme Court verdict on the curbing of air pollution. In its study, the Central Pollution Control Board has found out that there is an increase in the barium and strontium in the urine samples of the subjects. Usually, the barium and strontium is used in the cracker manufacturing. So it has been attributed that due to the contact with the firecrackers have resulted in the increase in level of the barium and strontium in the urine samples of the subject. Apart from that, there is no adverse impact of firecracker bursting have been significantly noted down. Finally, the Central Pollution Control Board has clearly stated that by having a short-term health impact assessment, we cannot be able to come to the complete conclusion. We are in need of focusing on the long-term study to find out the impact of firecrackers in the human system. That is what the final observation which is provided by the Central Pollution Control Board in this regard. And that is what all about this article. Now let us move on to next important article. This is the fourth important article of this page. And this article is very much important from the perspective of General Studies Paper 3 of UPSC Civil Services Mains examination, as well as it is very much important from the perspective of the UPSC Civil Services Preliminary Examination. Recently, the Central Statistics Office that is CSO, has come up with the advanced estimates of national income for the financial year 2017 to 2018. In this estimate, it has been found out that the gross domestic product of India in the financial year which is ending at March 31 is recorded the 4-year low of only 6.5%. Earlier, for the financial year of 2016 to 2017, the gross domestic product is recorded at 7.1%. So, there is a reduction in the GDP. The main reason for this reduction or drag down is primarily due to the deceleration of the agricultural sector and the manufacturing sector. Apart from this, the Central Statistics Office has also says that the gross value added has also dropped to 6.1% in the financial year of 2017 to 2018. Earlier, for the financial year of 2016 to 2017, the gross value addition is 6.6%. In the gross value added growth also, the agricultural sector, forestry and fishing has recorded the slow growth. Similarly, the manufacturing industries were also recorded the minimum amount of GVA. The drop in the gross domestic product as well as the gross value added product is attributed to the demonetization and the GST implementation of Union government. But at present, both the demonetization impact as well as the GST impact have been gradually petered out. So as a result, let's hope in future the GDP as well as GVA will gradually rise to the previous level. And that is what all provided in this article. And now let us move on to next important article of this page. This is the 5th important article of this page. And this article is very much important because this article is discussing about the territorial army as well as it is discussing about the empowerment of women. We know that earlier the Union government has signed its acceptance for the allowing of the women in the Indian Defence Forces. Accordingly, the women were inducted into the Army, Navy, and the women were also inducted in the Air Force as well as Coast Guard. Even the Border Security Force were also inducting the women in its forces. So in such scenario, recently the Delhi High Court has announced that the prevention of women from entering into the territorial army is violation of the constitution and it amounts to the deprivation of fundamental right of equality. So as a result, the Delhi government, especially the Delhi High Court, has clearly stated that the women have to be applied or have to be allowed to join the territorial army. So from this article, we have to know what is meant by territorial army. Actually, the territorial army is a second line of defense after the regular Indian army. This territorial army is initially created in the year of 1920. Earlier, the British government has a force known as Indian Defence Force. This Indian Defence Force is having two components. The one is the European component and another is the Indian component. The European component is named as the Indian Auxiliary Force, whereas the Indian component of the Indian Defence Force is called as the Indian Territorial Force. This force came into existence in the year of 1920. After the independence, our first Governor General of India, C. Rajagopalachari, has inaugurated the Territorial Army Division in independent India. It has happened in the month of October 1949. After that, every year, the annual Territorial Army Parade Day is held at the 9th of October. This Indian Territorial Army is not a profession or an occupation or a source of employment. This Indian Territorial Army is purely meant for the persons who were already in the mainstay civilian profession, and the people have to be gainfully employed or self-employment in a civil profession to enter into the Territorial Army. That is the main condition. Earlier, being a man is the one of the condition, but at present, due to the announcement of Delhi High Court, this gender barrier is completely removed. Some of the honorary civilians who have entered into the Territorial Army are number 1, Kapil Dev, who is a cricketer, and number 2, the Mohanlal, who is a famous actor in South India, and then Deepak Rao, and finally the all-known Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He is a well-known Indian captain especially the cricket captain. And that is what all provided in this article. And now let us move on to next important article of this page. This is the 6th important article of this page. And this article is very much important from the perspective of UPSC Civil Services Mains examination. The main reason is this article is discussing about the adultery law. This adultery law is brought into the statute by the Britishers. The main issue with this adultery law is the contention regarding the Indian Penal Code section 497. This Indian Penal Code section 497 is meant for dealing with the issue of the adultery, and this section is dealing the woman as a commodity which is owned by the husband, and this notion has completely violated the concept of gender equality and gender sensitivity. So as a result, the Supreme Court of India has decided to reconsider the verdict which it had provided in the year of 1954. According to the statute, the Indian Penal Code of section 497 mandates that if a man has sexual intercourse with another's wife without the consent of the husband or connivance of husband, then such person is guilty of offence of adultery and shall be punished. That is what stated in the Indian Penal Code section of 497. This is the section which is under the scrutiny right now. The Supreme Court want to rewrite this section with the outlook of the social progress, gender equality, gender sensitivity, and also the Supreme Court is looking forward to view this section in the perspective of rights of women. Some of the main issues with this Indian Penal Code section 497 is this section always treats that the man is the adulterer, whereas the married woman is a victim. That is the first problem. And the second thing is why the offence of adultery is seized by the moment it is established by the husband's connived or consent. It is the second question. And third question is whether the married woman is the property of her husband, or do the woman is not having her own individuality. That is the third important question. So all these questions will be addressed by the Supreme Court in this regard in coming days. And that is what all about this article. And now let us move on to next page. This is the page number 5 of Hindu newspaper, and this page contains 2 important articles. This is the first important article of this page, and this article is very much important from the perspective of General Studies paper 2 of UPSC Civil Services examination, as well as from the perspective of the preliminary examination. The main reason is this article is discussing about the governance aspect of the organic farming in India. First, let us see what is meant by organic food. The organic food means the food product which is grown in an environment free of chemical pesticides or free of fertilizers, genetically modified organism, and free of induced hormones. Only such kind of a product is what termed as the organic product. In general, the certificate for this organic product is provided by the National Program for Organic Production or the Participatory Guarantee System for the India. These two organizations will provide the certificate for the organic product, but until now it is only voluntary process and there is no mandatory process have been enacted in this regard. But nowadays or in recent days, the demand for the organic product is gradually increased and it has now touched a greater extent. Right now, roughly around 1.5 million hectares of cultivable land which were certified under the National Program for Organic Production is present in India, and roughly around 1.35 million tons of certified organic products are produced in India, and it is roughly around 1/5 of the total produce of organic food is exported to other nations. And it has been found out that in India only 1.7% of the cultivable area is under organic farming. Sikkim is one of the states which is leading in the organic farming in India. In this scenario, due to the increased demand for the organic food, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has decided to regulate this organic food industry. So as a result, recently the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has issued a set of regulations, and according to that regulation, it has been stated that it is mandatory to get certificate either by the National Program for Organic Production or by the Participatory Guarantee System for India in order to accept as an organic product. Apart from this mandatory certification, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has also stated that the farmers can get the organic product logo from the FSSAI by applying separately. Apart from that, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has also stated that the label which is affixed in front of the organic product have to mention full and accurate information of the organic status of the product, as well as it have to mention the certificate of quality assurance mark. Apart from these two information, it also have to contain the organic logo in it. These are the important observation which is made by the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India to regulate the organic farming in India. Now let us see what is the difference between the National Program for Organic Production and the Participatory Guarantee System for India. First, let us see National Program for Organic Production. It is in existence for the past 2 decades, and under this National Program for Organic Production, the certification of organic product is provided by the third party, and the certified product is primarily meant for the export to other nation. This National Program for Organic Production is right now run by the Ministry of Commerce, and it has authorized 24 agencies to certify the NPOP certificate. The main aspects which these agencies look for in an organic product were: number 1, the verifying of farms; number 2, the verification of storages; and number 3, the verification of processing units. Once the farmer has successfully come through all these 3 processes, then the organic logo will be provided to him. That is, India organic logo is given to that corresponding farmer. That is the path which is followed by the National Program for Organic Production. Now let us see how the Participatory Guarantee System for India works. Actually, the Participatory Guarantee System for India is come into existence only for the past 2 years. This Participatory Guarantee System for India is run by the Ministry of Agriculture through the National Center of Organic Farming. This Participatory Guarantee System for India works under the peer review approach. That is, the farmers played a major role in certifying whether the farms in the village adhered to the organic cultivation practices or not. That is the difference between the National Program for Organic Production and the Participatory Guarantee System for India. That is what all provided in this article, and now let us move on to next important article. This is the second important article of this page, and this article is very much important from the perspective of preliminary examination. Here, the article is discussing about the state emblem. We know that not every state in India is having its own official emblem. Only some of the states like Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Uttar Pradesh, and even some more states alone were having the official state emblem. Earlier, the states like the West Bengal or the Union Territories were not having their own state emblem. So in that scenario, recently the West Bengal government has decided to create its own state emblem, and for that reason it has submitted its proposal to the Union government. Recently, the Union government has accepted the proposal of West Bengal, and thereby the West Bengal has released its official state emblem. That is what all provided in this article, and now let us move on to next page. This is the page number 9 of Hindu newspaper, and this page contains one important article. This article is discussing about the consumer rights. Recently, the Ministry of Consumer Affairs has come up with a bill called as the Consumer Protection Bill. According to this bill, it has been stated that the celebrities who were participating in the misleading advertisement will have to pay the penalty of Rs 50 lakh and face a ban of up to 3 years of time period. That is the important provision which is present in this new Consumer Protection Bill. Apart from these two punishments, the Parliamentary Committee has also recommended to have a jail term for that particular celebrities. But fortunately, the Union government does not accept this recommendation, and right now only these two penalties and punishment is enshrined in this new Consumer Protection Bill. That is what all about this article, and now let us move on to next page. This is page number 11 of Hindu newspaper, and this page contains two important articles. The first important article is discussing about the World Trade Organization and its outcome. Since we have already covered a lot regarding the World Trade Organization in our video lecture, we will skip this article in this video. The second important article is related to the new currency. According to this article, the Reserve Bank of India has announced that it is going to release the new 10 rupee denominated currency, and the new 10 rupee denominated currency will be of the color of chocolate brown, and also it will contain the image or motif of the Sun Temple Konark, and on the reverse side the currency will be having the country's cultural heritage. The Reserve Bank of India has also stated that the new 10 rupee denominated currency will be smaller in size when compared to the previous currency. Earlier, the currency is in the size of 63 mm by 137 mm, but the new currency will be in the size of 63 mm by 123 mm. Apart from this announcement, the Reserve Bank of India has also stated that the earlier series of rupee 10 denominated currency will be continued to be a legal tender. And that is what all about this article, and now let us move on to next page. This is the page number 12 of Hindu newspaper, and this page contains one important article. It is one of the important article from the perspective of the UPSC Civil Services examination, because this article is discussing about the rural BPO scheme. We know that the Union Government of India is pushing forward for the Digital India program. So as a result, the Union Government has announced the rural BPO scheme in the month of April 2016. The main purpose of this rural BPO scheme is to incentivize the BPO firms to extend operations in the Tier 2 cities and the Tier 3 cities, which means this scheme is meant for popularizing the BPO industry out of metros, that is metro cities. For this reason, the Union Government has allocated around rupees 500 crore of corpus for this scheme, and the main aim of this rural BPO scheme is to incentivize the establishment of 48,300 seats, providing about 1.45 lakh of jobs under the 3-shift strategy. And under this rural BPO scheme, the special incentives were also provided. The special incentives were provided for employing women, employing differently abled persons, as well as the special incentive were provided for generating employment beyond the target. And that is what all about this article. And now let us move on to next page. This is the page number 6 of Hindu newspaper, that is the editorial page, and this page contains 4 important articles. The first important article is about the Bhima-Goregaon battle. This Bhima-Goregaon battle is held between the British troops versus the Peshwa troops. It has happened in the year of 1818, and this battle is one of the Anglo-Maratha War. We know that the Anglo-Maratha War concluded the dominance of Peshwas in India. Recently, the 200th century of the victory of Bhima-Goregaon battle is celebrated in the state of Maharashtra, that is in Pune. And this article is one of the important articles from the perspective of the UPSC examination. And the second important article is related to the adultery law. We know that the section 497 is under the question right now. Recently, the Supreme Court of India has taken the case for discussing about this adultery law. This adultery law has a lot of issues. One of the important issue is this adultery law, that is Indian Penal Code section 497, treats woman as an object of the husband. This is one of the important issue which have to be addressed in the perspective of the gender equality as well as in the perspective of gender sensitivity. So from that angle, this article is also one of the important article. And the third important article is related to the persons with disability. Recently, the Supreme Court of India has ordered the Union Government to look into the issues or problems which were faced by the persons with disabilities. Because recently we came to know that many of the educational institutions were not providing adequate amount of seat allocation for the persons with disabilities. And apart from that, many of the government offices were inaccessible to the persons with disabilities. So as a result, the Supreme Court of India has ordered or questioned the Union government to look into all the problems of the persons with disabilities. So from that angle, this is also one of the important article. And fourth important article is related to the international relationship. Recently, the North Korea has accepted to participate in the dialogue with the South Korea. So it is one of the greatest development, because the last time these two nations were participating in a dialogue mechanism has happened in the year of 2015. So roughly around after 2 years of time period, now the North Korea has come forward to discuss the common issues. Considering the problem with North Korea and its nuclear arsenal, this dialogue mechanism is one of the very good step which can take the relationship forward. And since we are not having sufficient amount of time to cover all these 4 articles in our video lecture, we kindly request you to go through it on your own. That is what all about the today's video lecture on the Hindu newspaper analysis of 6th January 2018. For further important video lectures as well as for the further important notes regarding the UPSC Civil Services examination, do download our official Android app from the Google Play Store. All the best for your future examinations. Thank you.